My name is Samat Tolutbay. I'm a journalist, researcher, and descendant of great nomads. My ancestors had wandered through these steppes for centuries, followed their herds in search of the best pastures. The cattle was always their main capital. What are they now? The descendants of the great cattle breeders. The school of nomads, studying the past, creating present in order to build the future. In today's program, Karakul farm in Mangistau region. How to take care of lambs. What are they? The Adai horses. Mangistau steppe. Endless, desolate, and severe. They say that it is only in the spring that this land changes, becoming covered with sparse vegetation. It is particularly pleased with the local shepherds. It's hard to believe, but on the Mangistau Peninsula, along with fishing, oil production is actively developing and livestock. I'm going to one of the largest farms in the region, the Karakul farm. Cattle breeders raise Karakul sheep and horses of Adai breed. They say that these animals are perfectly adapted to the severe Mangistau climate. Hello. Hello. How are you? Thank you. I'm good. Hello, Aga. My name is Samat. I'm exploring our traditional livestock. I came to you to see how you breed the Karakul sheep and the horses of Adai breed, which are adapted to the Mangistau climate. I want to become an assistant to your shepherds for a day. Will you accept this offer? Welcome. Here from this Karakul farm, we will begin our acquaintance. Thank you. The Karakul breed of sheep was raised in Central Asia. Undoubtedly, sheep breeding has great prospects in the domestic livestock sector, and according to experts, the breeding of Karakul could make a significant contribution to the economic development of desert and semi-desert regions of the country. Valuable in this breed of sheep is the Merlushka lambskin. However, on this farm, the sheep are raised only as a meat breed. Tell us about your farm, when it was created. Of course, any research is better to always start with a story. Jibek was established in 1984. It would be more precise to say that a state farm was established with the district center in Kızılozen. In 2016, under the presidential program of privatization, the farm passed into private ownership and began to develop further. You can even say it was revived again, because there were crisis moments. Our goal was also to provide people with work. So we began to develop the breeding of Karakul sheep and horses of Adai breed. Later we brought the Kazakh white-headed cow from Uralsk. Basically, our farm is focused on breeding meat-wool breeds, whether it be sheep, horses, or cows. We chose the Karakul sheep because this breed is best adapted to the local Mangistau climate. Indeed, all the animals on the farm perfectly tolerate the harsh winter and hot summer of Mangistau. As for the Karakul breed of sheep, they're able to graze for long distances and can pass 10 to 15 kilometers a day. These animals tolerate highly mineralized water well as a sharp change in temperature. By the way, Karakul is considered one of the most ancient breeds. What kind of features Karakul have? Their hair is soft and silky. They're hardy, not whimsical to water. Shepherds can easily graze them, unlike other breeds. Since they always go in a herd and try to keep up, they're convenient to graze the flock. According to farmers, from all domestic animals, it is most difficult to graze sheep. After all, for example, horses are grazed by jams led by stallion, and therefore can be grazed without guidance of the shepherd. And the shepherd looks after the flock of sheep for 365 days a year. And to this you can add a haircut made twice a year, and when it is necessary to save every born lamb. By the way, Karakul sheep often brings 2 lambs at once, so it's difficult to breed this sheep, but it's profitable. Sake, I think I came to you in the hottest season, the time of lambing. Yes, that's for sure. You came very timely, in the most interesting season of animal husbandry. This is a good time when there is a lot of work to do. For us, the harder the work, the more interesting it is. So you came to us on time. We call the time of lambing the Sakman. I understand that there are no unnecessary hands in the farm. There is work for everyone. And since I'm going to spend the whole day with you, then let me take care of the lambs and milk them. Thank you. You came very handy. Today you will be very busy. Thank you. Let's get down to work then. The main herd, as it turned out, on pasture. And here in the barn, now there are recently horned sheep. All these moms and toddlers will stay here until the end of the lambing season. Karakul sheep of small stature, at the same time they are firmly built and have a fat crop. The weight of the male reaches up to 100 kilograms. The female weighs approximately 40 to 45 kilograms. And lambs are born in a weight 4 to 5 kilograms. The wool of newborn lambs is curly. As they grow up, they lose this feature. The wool lengthens and straightens. Karakul can be black, gray, silver, brown, white colored. The wool is thick, and therefore they're cut twice a year. Aga, what are you doing? I'm going to feed the cattle. It's time for lunch, huh? Yes, it's about time. We feed cattle at lunch and in the evening. It turns out in a day only 2 times. Yes, twice in a day. There is windy in Mangistau, but the sheep endure both the wind and the heat. Therefore, it was in Mangistau that Karakul sheep were bred for the first time. During the Soviet times, they raised them for the fur, Karakulche. Now we keep it as a meat breed. I decided to help you on the farm today. Let me feed the sheep myself. Good. So we feed inside. Yes. All I start to work. Let's get to work. Hey, wait. They're in such a hurry. Wait now. I'll prepare everything for you. Then you'll come. Wait a bit. That's right. Apparently they're very hungry. They almost trampled me. One of the mandatory conditions is to feed fetal sheep. This increases the lactation. Well, it helps to restore health after lambing. So I also filled with the forage 2 fodder decks. Now I'll make sheep come in. Were you waiting? Come in. We'll have dinner. Run, run. In the 90s, the number of Karakul sheep in Kazakhstan exceeded 6 million. Now there will be about 2 million. Considering the peculiarities of this breed, its endurance and high-quality meat, now in our country people began to increase its livestock. The shepherds remember that about 30 years ago, the skin of the Karakul was as valuable as gold. Yes, I remember how our parents appreciated Astrakhan hats and caps. Headgears were sewn from the curly fur to servicemen of high ranks. But now, things from Karakul are not in demand. Cattle breeders are raising these sheep just for the meat. Personally, I am very happy about that. After all, the Karakul is a skin taken from lambs of the Karakul breed on the first to third days after birth. Looking at these glorious kids, it's hard for me to imagine how can I kill them for the sake of a fur coat. Yes, maybe for cattle breeders, the production of Astrakhan skins would be another source of the farm development. But I am so glad that the Astrakhan collars and caps have gone out of fashion, and I hope they will never be in demand. With these thoughts, I set to work. Next, I will be busy with the lambs. I will milk them. Next to me is a lamb named Tupita. It is fed from the bottle. Appa, please tell me why. Its mother does not have milk. It happens sometimes. What a pity. Yes, no milk, so I do it myself. That's how it grew up. Probably you can't get it off. Oh yeah, it does not leave me. He got in my way, then I put them with mother in another place. After that, he forgot me. But when he was younger, he did not give a pass. When he grew, I sent him to the cowshed. His mother does not have milk, and yet there are lambs that are left without moms. Yes, but I put them to other sheep. Even so it happens. Yes, there are sheep which lost their lambs, and I give lambs to them. He seems to be very hungry. Tupita, stand still. His teeth began to grow. Now does not suck the nipple well. This our Tupita drinks with pleasure. What is this milk? Cows. And what about goat's milk? You don't give, do you? I gave it when he was younger. When grew up, I began to give cow milk. Do you look after all the lambs here? Yes, I look myself, and the children help. I tell them what to do, they do. I myself control and watch all the cattle in the pen. I look after the lambs, they grow or do not grow, hungry or not. I feed them food, hay. My lambs are growing, not bad, everything is good. As Kazakhs say, decided to cattle livestock, get the sheep. They breed quickly, there are a lot of wool and meat. In this farm, most often the sheep womb is brought by 2 litters. Yes, it happens that some lambs are fed artificially, but the best of all, of course, is the mother's milk. Since it helps to develop strong immunity, cattle breeders see the benefits of growing sheep in the spring. In the old days, this season all the relatives came to the shepherd for help, and now I help them. I fed the sheep and gave milk to the lambs. What other work is waiting for me? Now we must go to the pasture, see if the sheep have settled on there. If there are such, then the lambs must be brought here in the shed. They are born right in a step. Yes, they should be brought here. Once in the pasture, I immediately mounted the horse. If you remember, at the very beginning of our project, I barely sit on horses, and now sometimes I even miss riding. Some people think that being a shepherd is easy. They say that it is not difficult mounting a horse and going after his flock. But the shepherd follows both in the cold and in the heat, in the snowstorm and in the rain. In sheep grazing, there are subtleties. As experienced shepherds say, there are 40 nuances. Miss at least once, and your sheep will be skinny. This means that in every season, based on weather conditions, one should be able to collect cattle in a herd and lead it to the desired pasture. This is a whole science born here in the great nomadic steppe. Yes, during the lambing season, lambs are born right here on grazing. The baby should not be frozen in the steppe. I'll take it with me, put it in a special bag, and take it to a warm stall. And its mother will return with the flock in the evening. In addition to the fact that the lamb can freeze, so also the newly mom with the baby can fall behind the flock. Therefore, I will have to part them for a while. And in order not to confuse in the evening whose lamb is where, I will tie those same ribbons to mother and baby. Do not cry, lamb. Now I'll take you to a warm barn. That's how I learned to take care of Karakul sheep. Now it's time to get acquainted with the pride of the Mangistau region, the Adai horse. Adai horse. This species is bred in the west of Kazakhstan by improving the Kazakh horse Turkmen breeds. Distributed in desert areas between the Aral and Caspian seas. This breed received its name from the well-known in the history of Central Asia, the militant Kazakh clan Adai. For many years, this horse has accompanied the Adais in difficult nomadic pastures along arid steppes and in fearless battles with enemies. That is why Adai horse breeders especially appreciate this breed of horses. Specific for Mangistau hot summer, severe winter, dust storms, and strong wind made Adai horse one of the most enduring in the world. It is able to cope without water for several days and eat the stiffest grass. Its hooves are adapted to local stony soil. These horses are well adapted not only to the hot climate, but also to the herd content. They almost all year round graze themselves in the steppe, watched by shepherds. One of the features of the Adai horse is its ability to make hikes for long distances. The breed was bred almost 2 centuries ago and has reached our days. According to scientists, among all Kazakh horses, the Adai breed is considered to be the biggest. Until then, the breed was little known, and only after participating and winning at various international competitions, many became interested in this horse. Horse breeders say that on Adai horses, the Batars defended our lands. At marathon distances, these horses get a second breath, experts say. Therefore, Adai Argamax easily overcome 80-120 kilometers. Under the saddle and pack, this horse is extremely hardy and able to pass a day, feeding only pasture food, 80 to 90 kilometers. So in 1948, several Adai horses with horsemen past 298 kilometers per day. And in 1956, a Adai horse made a record after galloping 354 kilometers a day. Few people know that in 1952, in Mangistau, a Adai horse was tested for endurance. The horses had to ride for 24 hours. Then about 20 horses took part, and many of them could gallop 360 kilometers. But I do not know if there are such horses in the world yet. But we must pay tribute to the endurance of the Adai horse. Horse breeders are sure that Adai horses can easily become a national brand of Kazakhstan. So I am next to the legendary horses of the Adai breed. On this farm, using modern technologies, electronic chips are planted in animals. This means that each individual here is registered with a nationwide database. Chipping of pets is a technology that is now widely used by domestic farmers. According to cattlemen, there are different methods of marking animals. For example, to stigmatize. This method has long been used in practice. However, in modern Kazakhstan, there was a need to standardize tags. And chipping is the best way to register an individual. After all, an electronic chip cannot be changed or interrupted. So the fixed number for the animal will remain until the end of the life. In addition, the chip does not harm the body. Meanwhile, the procedure of chipping passes easily and quickly, using a special syringe. This mark can be placed in an adult and a newborn colt at any time of the year and day. I think we should be proud of these beautiful creatures. A Adai horse is an amazing breed brought out on the Mangistau land. It can rightly be attributed to the legacy that our ancestors left us. And I would like our horse breeders to breed not only Arabian or English horses, but more engaged in selection of Adai horses. My day flew by without you. It's great that I learned to take care of Karakul sheep and got to know better the Adai breed of horses. And I really like the Mangistau residents. Thank you very much for your generous soul and hospitality. And thank you very much for coming to us. I am very glad that you are exploring our traditional livestock breeding. Of course, it is impossible to become a cattle breeder in one day. As the Kazakhs say, a shepherd has 40 ways of grazing. That is why, in one day, everything is not to be learned. But today, you have become better acquainted with local breeds of sheep and horses, and this is already a good result. After all, livestock breeding has always been an important component of the life of Kazakhs. I hope you'll come again. Thanks, and see you soon. Probably from the fact that I am Kazakh, a descendant of nomads, it gives me great pleasure to study animal husbandry. I help the shepherds and farmers, and I feel myself as I am on a rest. And communication with such noble people as Jibek is a great happiness. With such a wonderful mood, I spent another day in Mangistau. Here I realized that my ancestors, from time immemorial, wandered through a variety of natural landscapes, learned not only to adapt themselves, but also managed to adapt their livestock to a variety of climatic conditions. The Karakul breed of sheep and Adai horses also confirm this, and we, the descendants, need only develop livestock in modern Kazakhstan.